Time for another edition of the In the Money podcast from KeenelandSelect.com. Tom Leach here along with Keeneland's director of simulcasting, Jim Goodman. Just a reminder, some big races on the Sunday cards with Saratoga and Del Mar going. So we'll do a separate podcast here on the site for some of the big Sunday races. But today we focus on 4 stakes from 4 different tracks. We'll start here in Kentucky, Jim, with Ellis Park. Their 8th race is the Grade 3 Gardenia. 3-year-olds it up, going a flat mile, and Molly Morgan, I'm guessing, probably goes favored there of what she did 2 starts back at Churchill. Who did you like?
Yeah, I think she will go favored over that race. But I thought this was one of the better betting races that we looked at for Saturday's card. 9-horse field, and Molly Morgan got an absolutely perfect trip. Corey Lannery rode her up the rail, and she won by 4, and she looked very impressive. Got a 97 buyer. They brought that was in the Fleur de Lis of the Grade 2, and they brought her back to Delaware Handicap, and she kind of ran the middle of the pack. She got beat by 8 lengths. I'm going to bet against her today simply because she didn't show much in her one race at Ellis, the Gardenia, last year. She got beat by 3 lengths. She went off at 50-1 last year in this race, which is kind of amazing. But you look back at her past performances, and she just really hasn't been that impressive. And she got really good, really quick in the Fleur de Lis, and she was 10-1 that day. So I think she's going to be kind of a false favorite here. I'm hoping anyway. I'm going to take a shot with the 6-horse Interest Free for B.J. Hernandez and Neil Howard, coming off a race at Delaware in the Sweet and Sassy where she didn't really fire. She went off at 2-1, just barely was not the favorite, but she did win at Indiana 2 back at 6-5 and got a 90 buyer. So I think Interest Free might be a price here at 5 or 6-1, something like that. I'm also going to take Frivolous. If she goes back to the February score at Fairgrounds, she should get some pace to talking about interest free here. The Fairgrounds race in February, she got a 96 buyer, which is very impressive. So I think I'm going to take Interest Free on top of Molly Morgan and use Frivolous in the 3rd spot, but try to beat the favorite with Interest Free.
We always tell people this, that we do our picks separately, and then we tape this, and so we don't consult in advance. I have Interest Free as well.
All right.
I didn't think this was a particularly strong field, so pretty evenly matched, and so looking for some value, and that 6-1 price is attractive. Didn't think there was a whole lot of speed in here either, and Interest Free ought to get a good trip, maybe sitting just off the leader. And then this horse has started only 10 times, but won 4, so has made it to the winner's circle 40% of the time, which I like. So Interest Free was my pick as well. Key her and exactas with Molly Morgan, Quiet Success, the 7, and the 4, Tappett's World for a little bit of a stretch there. Monmouth, their 11th race is the Grade 3 Monmouth Oaks for 3-year-old fillies, going a mile and a 16th. And I took a stab here with Ria Antonia. Probably regret it, but I think this filly has ability, and I think they just really screwed around with her, and the owner wanted to run in places that she shouldn't have been running. And maybe now they've got her on a good plan because she hadn't run in a while. Tom Amos has her now, and he's been able to get several works into her. And now they pick a Grade 3 spot, which seems reasonable, instead of trying the boys or some other Grade 1. So sharp work on July 29th for this. And so I'm going to play a hunch that Amos, with the time, has gotten her back on her game. And on her best day, I think she's certainly good enough to win this. So I'm going to try Ria Antonia, thinking that if she may have more ability than these, and if she shows it, you'll get a better price than is deserved for that ability. So I'm going to take her. I'm going to use her with Size, who's the one I started to go with, Claiborne horse, the 7, the 5, Casat, and the 4, Agua Regia. But Ria Antonia, number 1, is going to be my pick in the Monmouth Oaks. How do you see it?
We've got the same horses here in a little bit different order. I'm going to go with Size simply because I went back and looked at the Iowa Oaks. It's kind of an odd rematch. They shipped to Prairie Meadows, and now they're coming back to Monmouth and running against Ria Antonia again. And Size has only raced 4 times, and she's gotten better each time. 91 buyer last time out. Don't know what the sloppy track did. It was fairly sloppy out there when you watch that race, but she's getting better. Bill Mott's a great trainer. 3-year-old fillies this time of year can get a lot better, and Ria Antonia was very good at the end of the year last year, won the Breeders' Cup Juvenile by disqualification. Hasn't panned out as well this year. They threw her in the Preakness, which was crazy, but she is better right now. And I think it's a 2-horse race with those two. The other horse that I like was Casat. Larry Jones, again, only raced 3 times. Tried to get her on the turf last time out. They took it off the turf, and she won by 4. So they're bringing her back on the dirt at Monmouth, and I think she's got a shot as well. But I think it's a rematch of the Iowa Oaks with exactly the same result, size beating Ria and Tony in the stretch.
Saratoga's 10th race is the Grade 2 4-star Dave handicap, flat mile on the turf for 3-year-olds and up. This is where Wise Dan has raced in recent years, and Charlie LePresti wanted a little more time with Wise Dan's comeback, so he opted not to go here. And it's a small field, but I thought pretty well matched. There's some different ways you could certainly look at going in here. How did you see the 4-star Dave unfolding?
Yeah, I think the Saratoga people got to be disappointed with only a 6-horse field here. You would think with Wise Dan not running, they would have gotten a lot bigger field for this race. It is a quality field. It's going to be maybe uniquely run. Robbie Alvarado has not had very many good mounts at Saratoga, but he's on Silvermax on the inside. The problem with Silvermax, I think, is that he's going to be compromised by the speed of Syed, Kieran McLaughlin's horse that's drawn the 5-hole. And I think those two can probably beat each other. I think it sets up well for, even though it's only a 6-horse field, I'm going to play 2 closers in here. I'm going to play Jack Milton, the 3-horse, and Grand Arch, the 6 for Brian Lynch. And Grand Arch is probably going to be the better price of the two, simply because they haven't run against as good a competition. But it seems to me that the way the race folds comes out is Silvermax and Syed just go at it, and it sets up for one of the 2 closers. I'll probably take Grand Arch because of the price, but I think Jack Milton has a shot as well.
I'm going with Jack Milton. I think they've found this horse's best game at a mile. Tried him last year at the 1.25-mile distances, and he ran okay, but I think he's best at a mile, more explosive. 2 of his wins are at a mile. The race 2 back late May at Belmont, I think might be the best of any of these in this field for any, if you just pick each horse's best day. And then this horse went out to California and took on, obviously, on his home course. And Tom's Tribute ran 3rd in that Grade 1 Shoemaker Mile, came back to win a Grade 1 at Del Mar. So really salty bunch. Jack Milton didn't disgrace himself, and yet I'm hoping maybe you get a little bit of a better price because of Silvermax and because of the fact that Jack Milton ran 5th last time, and he's never been at Saratoga. So Jack Milton, for me, I'll use him with Grand Arch, Silvermax, and also the 2 Seek Again, who ran such a bang-up race on Derby Day in the Turf Classic against Wise Dan. Almost beat him. So Jack Milton, number 3, my pick in the 4-star Dave. Del Mar's Grade 3 La Jolla handicap is their feature on Saturday. 3-year-olds and up at 1 mile and a 16th on the turf. I took a shot with Tonito M. Hasn't been on the turf for Hollendorfer, but bred to like it. Looks like from where they've raced this horse that they have a pretty high opinion of him, and I think he's dropping in class into this spot. And if he likes the turf, then I think he's got a good shot, and the pedigree certainly suggests he should like it. I'm going to use him with Enterprising, the 6, and the horse I probably would have picked if I didn't go with Tonito M, and that's the 2 School of Hard Rocks. What about you?
Tonito M has got that new angle going, Los Alamitos to Del Mar, right?
Yes, that's right.
Yeah. I think he's got a shot. Obviously, he ran against Shared Belief and Candy Boy last time out, so there's no Candy Boy or Shared Belief in this race. The horse I went to is Enterprising on the outside. When you go back and look at the Oceanside, he'd never shown any tendency to close from out of the clouds. And I thought before I watched the race that he may have gotten a bad break, but I think they actually just changed policies on him and tried to get him to come from behind, and he relaxed and just blew him down in the stretch and just barely beat Argyle Cut, who got a perfect trip. So I'm going to take Enterprising over Argyle Cut, Sammy Mandeville, and I'll throw Tonito M in there for the try and the super. I think this, again, it's a short field, but a good quality field. I think Enterprising is a good bet.
Got some good racing on Sunday as well, and we'll be back with a separate podcast for those Sunday races, so make sure to check back here at KeenelandSelect.com. Best of luck on all of your wagers this weekend. For Jim Goodman, I'm Tom Leach. This is the In the Money podcast here on KeenelandSelect.com.